Texas Tech men's basketball is officially back as the Big 12 has released the preseason poll. Where were the Red Raiders projected to finish this upcoming season, as well as JT Toppin being named preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. No surprise there, but where are his teammates LeJuan Watts and Christian Anderson slated in terms of the preseason Big 12 awards? We'll discuss that and much more in today's video. Yeah, we're so up. We're so back. Come on right now. Are you serious? Texas Tech football, a top 10 team. Your Red Raiders, a top 10 team on the hardwood, and Texas Tech is about to tip off their season for yet another great year under Grant McCasland. Didn't even intro myself. I'm RC Maxfield. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the Red and Black Report. I'm excited, man. I'm really, really excited about this Texas Tech men's basketball team. And obviously, it starts at the top with Grant McCasland, and happy belated birthday to Irving, Texas' finest. You know, you got to shout out the hometown there because we are from the same hometown. But it's a belated birthday. That was earlier in the week. Give me some HBDs down in the chat for Grant McCasland and the head man. But enough with that. Let's jump into this. Your preseason coaches poll has been officially announced. And you see it on your screen right there. No surprise, Houston comes in at number one. And to be honest with you, they deserve it. They returned a ton of production and went out and added easily the best recruiting class in terms of immediate impact, in my opinion, across multiple positions, not just one marquee player in this league. BYU, I'm somewhat surprised that they're at 2, but I think you could really put the top 3 in terms of Houston, BYU, and Texas Tech, and really any order, and I'd be like, okay, I see it, even though I would have Houston 1, Texas Tech 2, BYU 3. Nonetheless, there is a drop-off, in my opinion, from the top 3 in this league. How big of a drop-off? Probably just one standard tier. You see Arizona getting 1 first-place vote. I don't know who's giving that out. Yeah, that's wild to me. But then you've got Iowa State and Kansas, and then I think you could lump Baylor into that tier as well, although I think it's truly Arizona, Iowa State, and Kansas in that tier. Then another tier, Baylor, Cincinnati. I think that might be a tier by itself. We'll include Kansas State, TCU. Then another tier, although Oklahoma State did beat Auburn in a preseason matchup that doesn't count, but maybe the Cowboys are getting back on track. And then you see the bottom 4 there in Utah, UCF, Colorado, and Arizona State. No surprise when it comes to that. Again, I'm kind of pretty much okay with where Texas Tech is at there. I think there is a top 3 teams clearly in this league. Houston has to be 1, and then whichever way you want to put BYU and Texas Tech 2 or 3, I can understand it. But that is clearly the top 3. Period. End of story. And if anybody tells you differently, I don't know who the hell put Arizona with the first place vote. We need to have a serious conversation about that. But I do think Texas Tech is in a great position to potentially win this league, but Houston has to be the odds-on favorite to do so with the production they're returning and the additions that they have made to Coach Sampson's squad down there in H-Town. Now, when it comes to the best player in the league, there's no discussion. We know who it is. You know who it is. Everyone that even knows an iota of college basketball knows who the Big 12 preseason player of the year is. That's JT Toppin. He is the reigning Big 12 player of the year and now the preseason Big 12 player of the year, and rightfully so. He is a bona fide superstar at the collegiate level and a guy that I actually think can take a step up this year in terms of his production. Now, what do I mean by that? I think he can get better defensively. I think he can get better on the perimeter. We already know what he can do in isolation and really what type of passer he is. Just ask Houston in terms of the nut check. That was a great pass. Should have never been ejected from the game, but it is what it is. I do think when you look at everything here, this was clear cut. No one was remotely close, and I think he will end up winning Big 12 Player of the Year for the regular season. Again, he is a guy that is a first-round NBA draft pick talent and easily the best player in this league, and it's not close, as I mentioned. So well-deserved honor here for JT Toppin, although he'll probably tell you this doesn't really matter too much He wants to win the Big 12 Player of the Year for the regular season and, more importantly, cut down the nets up in Indianapolis for the Red Raiders later on next year in April. Now, the next one is a guy that I don't think enough people are talking about. It's LeJuan Watts. He's a newcomer of the year in terms of the preseason newcomer of the year in the Big 12. This should surprise nobody. I'm telling you right now, I'm recording this on Thursday, October 16th. LeJuan Watts has true NBA first-round upside. This is a guy that will make an all-Big 12 team this season, in my opinion. He will fit in seamlessly to the D5 role. Now, there are some attributes and traits in his game that he simply doesn't have that D5 does, but same can be said about LeJuan Watts, about D5. LeJuan Watts is a bona fide athletic freak and mismatch nightmare. I feel bad for anybody that has to game plan against him this season. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to have to game plan for JT Toppin and Christian Anderson, easily the best duo in the Big 12. I think the Red Raiders have the best trio in the Big 12, and it starts with JT Toppin, goes to Christian Anderson, but last but not least, it's LeJuan Watts, and he rightfully deserves this preseason newcomer of the year award, and it would not shock me whatsoever if we're talking about him as an all Big 12 second teamer and he ends up winning the actual newcomer of the year award for the 2025-2026 campaign. Now, the last thing we need to talk about on, well, today's video is this. No shocker here, right? I mean, JT Toppin and Christian Anderson earned their spot on the preseason all Big 12 team. That's not a surprise whatsoever. The preseason all Big 12 team you would think would have 5 players. Nah, math don't work like that. You've got A.J. DeBanza, the star freshman out at BYU, Richie Saunders, who was phenomenal for the Cougars last year. You've got Emmanuel Sharp, Joseph Tugler, and Miles Uzan. I'm telling you, Houston is all kinds of legit people. Then you've got Tamin Lipsey up at Iowa State. You've got Darian Peterson, the best freshman in the country. You've got A.J. DeBanza and Darian Peterson. They will likely go 1 and 2 in next year's NBA draft. They are that good. You've got the Memphis transfer and P.J. Haggerty now up in Manhattan at K-State. And then obviously you see them on your screen right there, Christian Anderson and JT Toppin to round out the Big 12 preseason all Big 12 team. So again, DeBanza, Saunders, Sharp, Tugler, Uzan, Lipsey, Peterson, Haggerty, and then you've got Anderson and JT Toppin. We talked about the votes, or I should say the preseason poll in this one. I talked about the tiers aspect of this, and there was a pretty sizable tier drop-off as we get out of here in just a second. Houston had 224 votes. You had BYU, who was in second at 204. Pretty big jump there in terms of first to second. I told you, again, Houston's really good. Texas Tech not too far behind BYU at 200 votes. Drop off to Arizona at 179, Iowa State at 170, Kansas at 163, another massive drop off to Baylor at 137, Cincinnati at 120, and then Kansas State rounding out the top 9 with 117 votes. Everybody else below that, starting with TCU, has less or at 90 votes. So really, overall, this is a pretty clear-cut league in terms of it's pretty top-heavy this year, but I could see 9 teams making the NCAA tournament. But most notably, there are real cut-down-the-nets type contenders in this league, and Texas Tech is clearly one of them. It's led by Houston, then Texas Tech and BYU, but there are real national title contenders, and easily the best player, maybe in all of college basketball, is going to be wearing the scarlet and black this season, as JT Toppin is announced as the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. No surprise there, and the Red Raiders are picked to finish 3rd in the league this season. Let me know down in the comments below if you think Texas Tech should be higher in the preseason poll. I know what a lot of y'all are going to say. It doesn't matter. Let's see some results on the hardwood. I'm right there with you, but this Texas Tech team is talented as hell, and it's cool to see them get some early recognition that they rightfully, and I mean rightfully, deserve after what they did last year in the NCAA tournament in year number 2 of Grant McCasland. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube. We've got you covered on the gridiron, the hardwood, the portal, high school recruiting, and everything in between. It's interactive as hell. And again, I can't make it any more free. It's free. Like, it's in the very definition. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the RBR squad today. All right, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, as always, stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.